Hey guys, what's going on? This is Travis P11. I want to welcome you back to the channel. Well, I've had this Smith Wesson SD9VE for about a week now, and I've already decided to go ahead and do a few modifications to it, or just a modification for that matter right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to swap out the plastic factory guide rod spring combo with this aftermarket NDZ Performance accessories unit. What I'll do is disassemble the gun. We'll take the old guide rod out and compare the new part to the old part. If you watch my Taurus PT111 video, you saw that I swapped out the guide rod in that pistol too, and I feel like the pistol had better manageable recoil. I feel like I could stay on target a little bit faster, a little bit better. I mean, overall, I was just impressed with how much more authority the firearm would function with in that PT111 after I swapped out the guide rod. I don't know if I'm going to have the same experience with my pistol running the NDZ unit. All I can tell you is that these sell for about 20 bucks on eBay, and this company seems to sell a ton of them. There is another company out there, Galloway, that makes an aftermarket unit for this pistol, and the problem with nothing wrong with Galloway. I had one of those in my previous SD9VE, but they're very hard to get. It seems like they're sold out of the stock weight model quite often. So I checked there first, they didn't have it. I saw this one, I thought, you know, this one gets pretty good reviews, it gets decent ratings. Let's go ahead and try it. Now, whenever you modify your firearm, there's a possibility that it can do damage to the firearm. You don't know what's going to happen. And I did contact NDZ Performance Accessories. I'm still waiting for them to call me back. They actually called me back this morning and I missed the call. And I'm hoping to talk to them tomorrow to see if there's any long-term durability issues I need to worry about, because in the forums there were complaints about people swapping out their polymer guide rod spring combo with another aftermarket stainless steel unit, and it was causing damage to the frame. And so I don't want to do something to my pistol that in the long run is going to cause some kind of problems with it that's going to make it less reliable, or even break it for that matter. So all we're going to do is we'll just take this apart, we'll compare the two guide rods. At the range, I'm just going to do a quick functionality test with some brass ammo. We'll run 2 magazines through the pistol just to make sure that it's going to run with the guide rod. I'll see if it feels like it's worth it, if I think I need to do it. Otherwise, I might just take this out and keep it around as a spare. I don't know. But if it seems to manage the recoil better than it already does, and this pistol has very low recoil, in my opinion, compared to other pistols that are out there, I may just leave it in there, okay? There is a 3-gun competition this weekend, and I don't know if I'm going to run it with this in there because I'd like to do some more long-term testing with it. But I know for sure I'll have the stock unit back in the pistol. But anyway, guys, that's it. Let's just go ahead and go to the range and do the... Let's go ahead and compare the two guide rods, and then we'll run some range footage. Okay, so apparently what happens is that these two pedals that you see at the back here on the right and the left, when the stainless steel guide rod, it's so rigid and it has so much just, I don't know, you say rigidity or strength to it, that when the gun fires, it puts extra stress on these two pedals back here and it can actually cause them to break. Now, this is just in the Smith Wesson forums. A few guys had complained about it, but then you always have a few people that said, well, I've run a couple thousand rounds and I haven't had any issues. So I guess I can understand how that might cause extra stress on those two polymer pieces of the frame, whereas your stock polymer guide rod is going to have a little more flex. It's going to be softer. It's going to have less, not necessarily push, well, maybe less push, just less wear and tear overall on the pistol. So I'm just saying, if you're going to buy this upgrade, obviously, you know, you guys, the viewers, I want you to be very careful. Now, let's go ahead and just take a look at that stock guide rod, okay? It's just a lightweight plastic unit. The problem I had with my first one 4 years ago was this rear piece would flex. I mean, it would literally just like bend. You could see it bending, and the gun was brand new right out of the box. And it would cause the slide, well, this would get kind of flimsy, and it would cause the gun to not cycle properly, okay? So it's very lightweight. They do use the flat spring, which is what you want, the flat spring wire, instead of just a traditional, you know, spring. Rounded spring like we're used to seeing on you know, anything other than a gun guide rod, right? The aftermarket unit definitely has more heft to it. I would say it probably weighs maybe about a ½ ounce more. It's thicker towards the back. You can see how it's solid, whereas the polymer unit's a little bit different. The front does have a little hex nut you can remove here, screw, and that'll allow you to swap out the spring so you can put different weights in there if you want to. This is an 18-pound weight, which is kind of, I don't know if the gun came with a 17 or 18. This is pretty close to the original, but it's not such a heavy spring that I have to shoot a heavier round of 9mm to make the gun cycle properly. So I mean, you know, build quality, there's nothing wrong with this. I mean, like I said, I had issues with it the first time. This one seems to be okay, so we'll go ahead and install it. I'm just going to cycle it a few times, see how it feels, and kind of show it off once it's actually mounted in the firearm. Alright, just kind of a close-up, guys, with this installed. You can see what it looks like here. It's just really no different. The guy has a pistol with a steel guide rod. You know, you can see that it does fit properly, it does function properly. I checked the front of the screw to make sure it's nice and tight, and it is. Hopefully don't have to have it pop off and lose the screw or have to add any thread locking compound. Overall action, it feels, you know, about the same as the stock unit. has a little more authority when it returns the battery, which is nice. Hopefully, you know, less issues in terms of you know, FTEs or just FTF and so on. So yeah, we'll see how it shoots. Now, you know, it could be one of those things where it takes a few hundred rounds to break in before you really start to see it loosen up a little bit. So if it has any problems, I'm not going to be disappointed, because we are modifying the gun from its stock original internals, and I'm assuming the rear of the guide rod is resting on those pedals, because when you lock the slide back, it's basically at the position where the rear of that guide rod would be. So long-term durability, like I said, I'm going to talk to NDZ Performance. If I hear from them before I finish this video, I will report back to you guys in this video and I will let you know. So let's go ahead and run that range footage again. 2 magazines, Federal brass, that's all we're going to run through it, just see if it functions okay. Or maybe we'll do 50 rounds, who knows. We'll just kind of run it through and break it in properly, and if we have any issues, you'll see it. Probably not going to have the tack light on there though, because I'll be running a 3-gun competition this weekend, and I'm going to have to take this thing off anyway. So, alright, so there we go, guys. Let's go check out that firing footage. Okay guys, let's head on over to the range. It is raining. I'm filming this video and the Radical Firearms video and the Bear Creek video all in one day just to get them hammered out. We're just going to run 50 rounds of brass and then 50 rounds of steel, running that NDZ aftermarket stainless steel guide rod. So let's go over the pistol range and put a few rounds through this gun. I'm hoping for good luck. Definitely feels like the recoil has lightened up substantially. Seems a little bit quicker to go back into battery, a little bit less slop maybe. Let's keep doing it. Okay, it did not lock open on that last round, but it did cycle. I mean, there's no round in the chamber, so it went shut on that last round of the second magazine. Could have been my thumb. Hard telling, I'll have to go back and watch the video. Okay, magazine number 3, Federal brass. Here we go. Okay, same thing on that. It could be the gun, could be my placement of the thumb. We are empty. It did go back into battery, did not lock open. I am using 2 new magazines, however, so it could be the mags. It's hard telling. Okay, final magazine. This will be 50 rounds, and it did close on its own after putting the magazine in. My other SD9 used to do that too. Same thing. Okay, so I'm thinking it's a gun. It really doesn't bother me. I wish it would lock open on last round, but it did not. That was 50 rounds, brass. You know, it could require a little bit of braking to get this spring broken in completely, but not a problem. Not a problem. I'm happy with that. Okay, let's do 50 rounds of Tula steel, and we'll make sure she functions properly, and then we're going to get out of this soggy range. All right. Okay, so as you can see, we got that NDZ stainless guide rod in there, Tula. I'm just shooting like, I don't even know what this is, 60 yards, 70 yards, just shooting at a silhouette at the end of the range here. So let's run that steel case and let's see what happens. All right, here we go. Okay, that's all for that. I'm only doing like, what, 2 mags of 10 and 2 mags of 15. Did lock open, no problems there. Always a good sign. Okay, Tula's running fine through this. I'm very happy with it. Okay, here we go. Make sure this is in camera. I did that again. But it did feed all the rounds. It did not jam up. It did close. It did go into battery on empty. Okay, that was the second mag. Okay, a third mag of Tula, 15 rounds. Okay, here we go. Let's see how fast we can fire these off and see how she performs. All right. Oh. Okay, we did have a failure to extract. All right. The round did go off, by the way. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this off and fiddle around with this, and I'll be right back. No biggie, just a failure to extract. That's my luck today at the range, I'll tell you. Okay, let's finish out this mag. We'll run the final mag through it, and then we'll just have a little final analysis of the guide rod. Okay, here we go. I did it again. It's almost like the mag is sitting below the... Oh, I see what it is. Okay, the mag is just sitting just low enough that it's not... Dry fire? Yeah. Okay, so if I pull down on the mag, if I let the mag hang, see that? That's an empty magazine. It's not locking back the slide. If I push up on the mag or hold it with my pinky, it locks. So, just something's out of spec. She's still running good though. Okay, final mag. Here we go. Let's do this just one-handed, just to see if it has any limp wristing issues or anything like that. You know, you feel a thud, but it's still completely manageable. Recoil feels about the same as the previous guide rod. Okay, I'll go gangster. God, you guys. Jeez, calm down. Throwing brass in my vehicle. Well, steel for that matter. Alright, back to normal. Back to reality. Ooh. And we locked open. So, it could be my grip. Maybe my grip is pulling down on the magazine when I hold it with the two-hand grip. It's really hard telling. Okay, so let's come back with final analysis. Okay guys, so out of 100 rounds we had one round that was a failure to extract. That was the steel case ammo doing rapid fire. Just shooting at a regular pace, just a normal, you know, whatever, leisurely shooting pace. No problems whatsoever. 100 rounds down the pipe, another 100 rounds down the pipe. It's still gonna function as my bedside gun. I still keep it loaded with Hornady Critical Defense for, you know, self-defense ammo. That's what I keep in it at home, a couple magazines of that. Yeah, so should you get this upgrade? Is the guide rod worth it? I think so. I'm just thinking long-term durability. It may last. And here's the deal. I did contact NDZ. I think I mentioned that earlier in the video. I called them after hours, after they closed. They called me back the next morning at 9 a.m. my time, 10 a.m. their time, about an hour or two after they opened. And they did leave a message. I was busy doing some stuff at the time. I called them back. I did get a hold of a tech. I got right through. No wait time. I asked them, do you guys, you know, test your equipment in the firearms that you're making it for? And he said, yes, we do. He said that they've been around for quite a while. I think I found videos going back as far as 4 or 5 years on YouTube on NDZ products. And he told me to call anytime that they have any questions or concerns. They said they do have a YouTube channel. Again, I bought this out of pocket. This is not a promo. It's nice to see that there is still good customer service out there, especially with aftermarket parts. And they've got an eBay store. You know, they're selling on eBay. And sometimes you try to contact somebody through eBay, you don't always get the warmest response. Sometimes you have issues. You know, really, I was completely pleased to be able to talk to somebody and ask them questions about it and so on. So I'm glad I made that initial first contact. They said that they have not had any issues. And I said, I understand. Anytime you modify your firearm, there's a possibility that it could cause some problems down the road. It could break something inside the gun. You never know what's going to happen. I'll take the gun apart tonight and clean it and just inspect it, make sure there's no cracks, no stress cracks in the frame. But right now she seems to be running solid. So Smith Wesson SD9VE, I picked it up used for $250. Brand new, they're anywhere between $300 and $350. you know, depending on what kind of color and finish you want to go with. So that's it. So guys, I want to thank you for joining me today. It's been an interesting range day. We've had all kinds of mixed results, and you'll see that in all the videos I'm going to release. These will pretty much be released in a series. And yeah, you can check me out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I'm over on gunchannels.com. You can support the channel on Patreon with www.patreon.com/TravisP11. Otherwise, guys, I think that's about it. Sign up for Gun Channels if you have not done so. You're way overdue to do that, and I think that's about it. So guys, from the Rob Jeffrey firing range, a soggy range, I want to thank you guys for joining me. It's a beautiful rain we got going on right now. I had a great time making these videos for you. Guys, I want you to have fun, I want you to be safe, and as you know, we will talk to you soon. All right, take care, have a great week.